Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the October 23rd, 2019 East Long Meadow Conservation Commission meeting to order.
Hold on, let me get the recorder going.
Oh, okay.
Go.
Gentlemen, lady,
Hello.
sorry I'm late.
That's okay.
Meeting's been called to order. Commissioners Bosworth, Jernstrom, O'Brien, Zampacini, and Cornetti are here this evening. The first item on our agenda this evening is approval of the September 18th, 2019 minutes.
Recording.
Oh, yeah. Need to ask if anybody's recording. We have no audience here this evening. We have the audio recorder going for the staff, and Don Mackey is here for LCAT recording the meeting. Approval of the September 18th, 2019 minutes. After we received these at our last meeting, I sent an email to Connie, and you can see the minutes. You should have them in your packets, I believe. And I expressed some concerns that at the very end in the minutes, I don't have it in my packet. Oh, there, we actually had them here for approval. But
Yeah.
in the other business, in policies and procedures of the commission, there was actually two sentences here. And I asked for a lot more elaboration. We talked about 3 or 4 different topics. And the director did not want to do that, but in your packet you will see this evening there is an item from the director saying that she will add as re-request. And it's in there as a line-by-line item. But there was definitely a lot more discussion in there than the 2 sentences in the draft. So I'll entertain a motion to postpone the approval of the September 18th, 2018 minutes, or 2019 minutes.
So-
You want to review the audio and then
Yep.
and then put together the okay.
Yeah, I asked them to add to it.
And they didn't.
No.
Okay. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Oh, I
October-
have to apologize for I have to leave my phone on. I'm on call for the electric company.
Okay. October 9th, 2019 minutes. Did everybody get a chance to review those?
Yes.
Yes.
These were the minutes that were pretty much drafted by Jeff.
Yep. Exactly.
So, actually, I was going to bring that up later. The letter to the town council.
We have that.
All right. Good.
Yep. I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 9th, 2019
So
meeting.
moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The next item we had on the agenda was an old business, discussion on the orders of conditions for 244 Shaker Road. These were the ones where the director sent out the email previously, and we did not get them at the last meeting because she stated that there was not signed engineered professional drawings, which is not a hard and fast policy. We had a couple emails going back and forth on it. And essentially what we did when we approved the orders of conditions for this, we wanted our standard orders of conditions, and the only additional condition that we were adding in there as a special condition was the fact that they were going to remove a lot of the invasive species from around the adjacent wetland. And I also got an email from the director regarding this and saying she was going to be inviting Our Levesque and Associates to this meeting. I was assuming they were coming. Not sure why they're not here. But essentially, I guess all we can do with this is, I will send an email to Connie. And I think we actually approved this before for the notice of the conditions. Standard order, and remember, just removing the invasive species. So I don't believe this is anything we need to vote on now, and I will just send an email asking for these orders of conditions to be drafted.
That sounds good to me.
The next one was the review of the special conditions for Lot 16 Hidden Ponds. And then it actually went,
16's the one with the driveway.
yeah, now that, I'm looking at this, because then the next one says special conditions for 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 22. Then the next one on our agenda is 16, 17, 20, then 18 and 19, then 16 and 17 again, and then 16 and 17 again. Oh, review of the conditions. Okay. That's what it was. What's in, I had that backwards. The conditions 16, 17, 20, and 22, those were the ones that were going to be removed. And those were the ones that when read, and then when we went out and looked at it, and they were closer, and there was an asphalt there that we had in the conditions that were going to be removed.
Those are the ones Al came in
Right.
and contested, and then.
Correct, and then we
site
went out and
visit.
did the site visit, yep. And we agreed that we were going to remove them from the conditions. So I'll entertain a motion for removal of special condition 16, 17, 20, and 22 for lot 16 at Hidden Ponds. That's the one with the asphalt.
So,
I didn't understand that motion. Can you say that motion again?
The motion to remove special conditions 16, 17, 20, and 22.
On
lot 16.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Special condition for lot number 17 at Hidden Ponds, same sort of thing applies. I'll entertain a motion for removal of special conditions 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 22.
On lot
17.
17. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Then there wasn't the asphalt and that sort of thing involved, so pertaining to lot number 18, we were only looking to remove special conditions 16, 17, and 20.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Then we go to lots 2, 19, and 20. There was less things in there, so we were only looking for special condition 18 and 19 to be removed.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
aye.
Then we were at lots 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11, and those were way around on the other side from Redstone Drive. I'll entertain a motion for removal of special conditions 16 and 17.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then for lots 12, 13, 14, and 15, I'll entertain a motion for special conditions 16 and 17 to be removed.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hang on, let me catch up.
Okay. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of numbers thrown around there, Jeff. Hope you got it all.
Pretty much Tom made the motion and Tony seconded it.
Did you get the bag tonight, Jeff?
We
It
dropped
was
it up
delivered.
here.
It was delivered.
Oh, it's
dropped it off.
delivered?
Your coworker didn't buy those pulleys from me, by the way. Gave him a quote and he left.
Do you know, I saw that text and I couldn't quite comprehend who was the person.
I don't know, one of your road guys operates the Bobcat.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Andy something, I think.
I'll have to talk to him.
The next one that is on project monitoring is 101 Old Farm Road. And Jeff, Tony, and I went out there on Saturday A lot of that has grown in. Like 2-3 foot high stuff. We had hitchhikers and things all over us when we left. But essentially what we did when we were out there, we counted 12 stumps that were, I'm gonna say, over 8 to 10 inches in diameter. The other 5, which gets you to the 17 that they're saying were removed, you really couldn't see them in a lot of the growth, and maybe some of those smaller stumps were removed. And so I guess what we need to discuss is, you know, how we feel about the fact that they're proposing to replace the 17 mostly larger, older growth trees with 10 new, smaller trees.
Is it generally in the same area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the 10 plantings are generally in the same area that the 17 trees were removed?
I'm gonna say yes.
Plantings.
So I haven't visited that site. Were they asked to remove the 12 stumps? Will they be removed?
No, a lot of them we don't want removed. They're too
Okay.
close to the stream.
They'll
Okay.
cause.
That's- I
We
haven't
want them
seen
just to
the
stay
site.
there because it would create more of an
Stabilization.
erosion issue.
Yeah.
So those all stay, and they want to plant 17 new trees?
10.
10.
12.
Correct.
Did you say 10 or 12?
They want to do 10.
They proposed 10 on the
10.
drawing.
They proposed 10 on their restoration plan, but it was mentioned in the NOI that 17 trees were removed.
Yeah. It says it right here in their filing.
Yeah.
Said approximately 17 freshly cut tree stumps greater than 6 inches in diameter at the base were observed.
And they
So,
want to plant how many now?
10.
10.
And what's not included is the 17, and I'm gonna say there is some, the number I'm not gonna speculate on, but there was definitely some that were less than 6 inches that were cut down.
They didn't-
Some 2-3 inch diameter.
They didn't specify the species, right? They wanted to leave it to discretionary to us?
Tree species removed comprised of red maple, American ash, gray birch, American beech, and white pine.
No, the proposal
For the
for
replanting.
the replanting.
Do we have that? I don't have that drawing in the file, or my file with the proposed plantings. And I'm
I
not
think
sure at
it's
this
something
time
like,
that they actually
To be
specified.
determined,
I think on the plan, it was left to be determined
yeah.
by the commission and the owner.
You're more comfortable with 17 plantings, I'm on board with that, or more. I mean, at the very least, replace the amount, the same amount, like for like. I mean, well, it's not like for like, because they're gonna be smaller.
Yes, it'll take
Right.
quite a long time for them
Do
to
you wanna-
replace the canopy.
What
Yeah,
height are you looking for when they replant?
And I believe in the past, in things like this, we've said that a minimum of a 2 inch.
diameter,
Yeah,
yeah, as long as they plant something that's gonna be, you know, a wetland species that'll fit in that format.
Can we make some suggestions?
Absolutely,
Species?
that's yeah, for sure.
So-
There's the plan with the proposed plantings.
Yeah, I saw this the
Yeah.
last time we were looking at that. Personally, I think that they should
we did
plant
not,
another 7 on the left side there.
On the left side here,
Yeah, well, yeah.
or the driveway?
Where's the
Area.
driveway? Right
Right
there,
Right
right?
here.
Yeah, this is where they
Yeah, they went in
really,
there.
really hogged it out.
Yeah.
So you looking for more plantings? You want to propose, you want a motion?
we're just discussing now, yeah, if somebody wants to make a motion, that's fine.
Make a
and
motion
just-
that they plant 20 trees of our choosing.
Is there a second
Unless
to
you
that
want to amend
motion?
it to 15, 17.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Further discussion?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll further add to that motion of trees of 2-inch diameter.
Good, I agree with that. But you want 20 instead of 17, you added a
It's a
few more.
20 trees.
That's the motion. You
Are-
can discuss it, you
are,
can change it. you can-
Asking about the motion, so.
Mhm.
Right, so 20 trees, 2-inch diameter. The species to be chosen later. Actually,
Well, we
I
do
can,
know
I
what,
can,
we do know what was taken down.
yeah,
We can list those and,
Can we put the species in the motion? Can we redo the motion? and
sure.
include the
You can
species?
amend the motion.
I don't know the species, but I know you can.
They said
What
red
did you say?
maple, hickory beech, was hickory in there? It was red maple, beech, there might have been hickory in there.
White pine.
Was there some pine in there?
There was some white pines in it. I think the,
Pine's
weren't
typically.
the white
gray
pines the
birch,
ones right next to the
There was
water?
something birch, yeah.
Yeah, white pine's typically upland species, I mean,
I don't know
that,
what it is.
it could be upland soil.
Parse right down the listing of them.
I don't know, I think that it's mostly, yeah, I guess it is a hardwood forest with some pine littered throughout there. Hemlocks haven't been doing very well. We could,
yeah. Here we go.
Oh, yes.
As we're discussing it,
we could do five maples, 5 birch.
Oh, there were alternate leaf dogwood, witch hazel, and sweet pepper. Oh, those are the shrubs.
Yeah, those were planted, like, those are
Oh, that's not
nursery
bad.
stock.
Yeah, that's not.
That would be,
So which ones do you suggest?
so,
Maples,
red
birch.
maple, 5 red maple, 5 birch, 5 oak, and,
I don't believe there was birch in there.
There was, did you say gray
It
birch?
did say birch? Oh,
Gray
okay.
birch.
That's-
so 5 maple, 5 birch.
Gray birch.
Yeah, it says different, much different.
There's gray, red,
Oh, okay.
white, I don't know, there may be, yeah, I'm sure they're all in there.
How about maple?
It said
Maple,
red maple, regular maple.
it could be red or sugar.
According to this, there was
We
only
got
red
10.
maple. There was red maple, American ash,
Oh,
gray
there is
birch,
American
Ash
American beech,
isn't
and white
surviving
pine.
right now.
Pardon me?
Ash isn't surviving right now.
So we don't want that.
No.
Yeah, that's had the boar species going in them, right?
Yeah, they're just dying off, air pollution's killing them.
Oh.
Red maple's doing all right.
What about
Um,
the ash? No, you said ash is out.
Ash is out.
What was the next one?
So
Hickory's doing very well, oak's
Essentially-
doing well, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, essentially from what was removed, if we took out the American ash, there would be 4 species left. Red maple, gray birch, American beech, and white pine. So maybe we should just say
Perfect,
5
5
of
of
each.
each.
5 of each, there you go.
No hickory. Okay,
Um,
I'll second the motion, or it was seconded,
This is
right?
an amendment, proposed amendment.
To the motion.
Oh, okay, so I'll second the amendment to the motion.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment for the species? All those in favor of the amendment to the original motion?
Aye.
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 Now the motion that still remains on the floor is to inform our Levesque Associates and the applicant that we are looking for 20 trees in place of the proposed 17 and,
Place of
proposed
the
10,
first
and asking for a revised plan.
10, right, with the 4 species we listed.
He also said 2-inch minimum. Are you gonna keep?
Yes, that was in there
That
too.
was in,
Yep.
that was in the original.
So moved.
Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I looked in there, and I guess when he comes back with this revised plan, what we still haven't done, there's an enforcement order
Oh,
that was issued for this. What happened, Francis, I guess to give it, we should have done it maybe before. The phone was kind of ringing off the hook at the town hall from 2 abutters that are in this development, and this entire development has a 50-foot limit of work line from the edge of the resource area. And this person had a tree company come in and they just started cutting trees down. The house was purchased at a foreclosure. He was not aware of the limit of work line and that sort of thing, so we issued an enforcement order. And so there's been a couple of revisions and the proposals that have come in as a part of the restoration plan for the enforcement order, but what we have not done yet on this is issue the order of conditions for the enforcement order.
Oh,
So, which after he submits his revised plan, because the plan with the 10 trees wasn't that long ago that it was received. Doesn't even have, oh. But so yes, I guess, we can ask for the revised plan, and then we will proceed with issuing the order of conditions for replacement. And like we discussed previously at our last meeting, we're kind of out of the window for planting trees this year.
yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll still, I'm sorry, we'll still, we'll still ask them for the revised plan and give the order of conditions now, or we'll wait on that?
I will wait till we get the revised plan.
Okay, so first the
Make that the-
revised plan,
Mhm.
and then the
Enforcement
order
order.
of conditions.
Yep.
Okay, got it, thank you.
Other projects as listed on the project monitoring spreadsheet. The only other one that I had, I believe I emailed some people on it, but now that we discussed it in the meeting, I will send it out. When all the trees came down last Wednesday, and we had the rain, Wednesday, Thursday, Alice Whitmer was in Town Hall Friday, because the Red Clay River was there again.
I saw that.
Jeff and I were notified about it on Friday afternoon at like 1:30 in the afternoon. And I responded that, this needs to go to the DPW because as we discussed, we believe the source of this is outside of our jurisdiction, where that culvert is. I did go there on Sunday last weekend and the street has not been paved over. It's still open. So there is still definitely clay washing out of that. And there is still clay, even though the tracking pads are much better, there is still clay leaving the job site on vehicles. And there definitely is. And based on our previous inspections, we did not see any of the clay making it through the existing erosion controls that were on the site. And I have been there a couple times in the rain just looking at it. I saw Bruce Feeney at the town council meeting last night and asked him if they could get out there today and possibly take a look at it. But unfortunately, the rain had stopped pretty much this morning, so I'm not sure if the river was still there or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was there last night when it was raining. So it's just, we need to stay on top of it. I need to inform Al Joyce about that.
Yeah, again, that was stuff that was like out of our jurisdiction, right? It was a,
It absolutely is, and Bruce was questioning that, but that was actually in the letter that we sent.
yeah,
Bruce did say he got the letter, but yes, and that culvert is at least 150, 200 feet out of our jurisdiction.
right. She should have sent a letter to all the commissioners to her, an email.
We did have it go to the planning board also. The
At
letter went
1:30.
to.
Oh, you're talking about the letter that
The
was in
response to Alice
Mrs.
Whitmer?
Whitmer
Right,
regarding
it went to the
Red River.
DPW and to the planning board.
Right.
Alice Widmer went into town hall apparently Friday morning with the letter that she received, and she said the water was still running red behind her house after that storm. There was an email sent out to only Craig and myself at around 1:30 something, which I didn't see until I checked my email about 4:30 in the afternoon. And Craig and I were already signed up for the
Open meeting.
open meeting
Right.
training at 5:30.
Right, that's
And
right, it was Thursday.
Thursday.
that was Thursday, so by that time it was
Right.
I was at the open meeting
Too
also.
late.
too late to
Right.
do anything. Plus the fact that it wasn't sent to the entire commission, it was only sent to the two of us.
Yeah.
And basically by that time it was too late to do anything.
Yeah. And they're aware, I did ask in my email response the next day, I won't recall or something, because they are aware that I do not check my emails during the day. I don't have them going to my cell phone, I don't see my emails till I go home. And none of the DPW was notified about it either. But that was,
Do you guys, everybody get text? You don't get text?
No.
I do.
You get text? You get text?
mhm.
For me personally, the emails, like, I check them as my schedule allows.
Mhm.
So, text for me, or a phone call,
It's really important.
like, a lot of times,
Yeah.
I'm flexible, so I could've, if I received a text, I could've probably shot over there.
Yeah, well, that's what I mentioned in it, is, one of the things, and that's something I've asked about before. We're kind of going off, but, it's pretty loose, there's only us here tonight, but
One of the issues
it
is notifications to us. You
Yeah.
expressed concern
Well-
that the thing came in at like 10 and she didn't send it till 1:30.
Well, I've asked if we could do that before, and I think it would be something, I know you can get that program.
Well, yeah, there's gotta be.
And Bethany could send out text to us from the computer for the people that want that. But we broached that subject before and that got shot down, but it is something that we can definitely talk about again, because I absolutely would prefer text during the day also.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind emails, and obviously some things have to be emailed with attachments and that sort of thing, but short texts are great for me. They really are, we text all the time.
Absolutely.
I text with Jeff all the
Yeah,
time.
They're quick, to the
And-
point.
And one other thing along that note is at, both Connie and Bethany were out of the office on Thursday and Friday attending a conference. And apparently Connie stated that she sent it via her phone when there was a break, or she saw it, and that's why it was so late. Because there was some email correspondence to her that was sent early in the morning on Friday, or Thursday,
By the DPW.
by the DPW.
She could have just as easily texted us.
Mhm. Or call.
I mean-
But,
I'm
but,
sure there's a format where you can text via your computer, like you were just saying.
Yeah.
Through your,
And if you're gonna use text, you just have to set up the group text. In other words, like you do
Yeah.
for email,
Yeah.
you have an email group, you have a text
Mhm.
group. And that's what you use every time you wanna send a text out to the commission.
I don't believe that any department in the town does it right now.
I mean, for certain
Perhaps it could be a
cases-
legal
they all
issue.
do it by email because
Yeah.
it's documented.
Right.
Right.
But I think if it's an
Texting
emergency
can be
like this, you
documented.
have to be there
Mhm.
with the rain or right after
Yeah,
it rains
well,
to see it.
And, I've always said too, pick up the phone and call me.
So it
Yeah.
depends on the situation. Email is, I get my email right away on my phone, but email with attachments and legal matters, yes, they have to use email. But if they want us to make a quick site visit, they've got to reach us by text. There's no way, or phone call.
Yep.
I mean, they don't have to go into big detail, just, let us know and.
Yeah, there's no way you're gonna get a quick response from email with.
I agree.
Me personally, I can't speak for the rest of the board, but
Yeah, I don't check email as often as I check
Yeah.
text. I mean, that's normal.
Anybody else have anything under the project monitoring?
just while we're on the subject of hidden ponds, Al Joyce
Oh, yeah. thank you.
sent a letter right after the storm last week, saying that on Lot 14, during the last windstorm, there were a few trees that were blown over on Lot 14, Hidden Ponds Estate. These trees were located at or just outside the limit of work line. Please note the erosion control is a few feet outside of the limit of work line. We can remove these trees without impacting or entering the no work area. We are requesting permission to remove these trees. So I think that's something we need
I
to.
can't remember where lot 14 is. I know where 16.
14's around the corner on the back.
Is it near the pond? Or one of the ponds? Everything's near the pond.
So when you drive in, don't you go past
Yeah,
the
it's
pond on your right and then
Yeah,
it's
it's
right
just
there?
around the corner, right there,
Yeah.
yeah. After when you come in.
Right. That's where that last boat on was, or one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have a concern. My only concern with this whole area is they've already taken down so many trees, right? I mean, that was allowed. And their buffer zone is only 25 feet. So every time a tree cracks or breaks or whatever happens because of the wind coming through this empty area, the buffer zone is not as protected, right? Especially if they're up close. He said it's on the line.
Yeah, he wants to pick it up off the ground.
These trees are already down.
If that's all,
These are flat.
that's all he's doing,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically, he's
I
asking,
haven't seen
that
him, but,
he wants to remove them, they're already down.
the trees are down, he said they're outside the limit of work line,
oh, okay,
and he's just asking permission to clean them up.
okay.
I guess my question
I just wonder how they're gonna put them out, okay.
My question regarding that is, how many trees were really left there outside the limit of work line?
That's what I'm
Well,
worried
it's
about.
easy site visit will
Yeah.
determine
Yeah.
if they're
You know,
physically down.
On my recollection, for the limit of work line, everything was pretty
Uh-huh.
much taken down,
Yeah.
except for these few lots here, 16, or
Yeah.
18 and 19 and 20, where we, or actually it was just 18 and 19 where we requested more and got left there because of the steep bank.
I'm not surprised the trees came down after that storm.
I'm
Especially with
not
all those
surprised
things
either.
getting everything getting
Okay.
exposed.
At the MACC conference on Saturday, one of the workshops that I took was about buffer zones. So
Mhm.
this is a very small buffer zone, only 25 feet. And every time there's some activity on the buffer zone line or just near it, I think we should be very attentive to that, because it's a small buffer zone. And those ponds are not gonna be very protected once it's all residential area, let's face it, with that small buffer zone. They're gonna want access to the pond, and they probably will. I mean, I see it in the area where I live. Now, latest news is somebody's out there in a canoe, and it's no trespassing, no fishing, they're already fishing.
Canoe.
Now they're out on the water, so, I mean, this is prime for that, when you start building all around,
Is this somebody who lives in the project, the canoe?
no,
Oh,
no one in our building, does anything like that, they don't fish, and they're coming from other places. They're accessing the area, through the behind the fire department. So I know people, wanna be, there are areas where they can go for recreation, but this is not one, and neither will this be, right? Is this gonna be allowed to be a recreation area?
You swim in
Yes.
that thing as a kid?
Hmm?
You swim in that thing as a kid?
I used to swim and fish in there all the time.
Yeah,
So
we
people
swam in
will be
there.
allowed
There used to be a
to,
raft in
What
there.
we have
no,
allowed,
but they will be allowed to.
what we have allowed in our orders of conditions,
Okay, I didn't see
and,
that.
and it recommended and okay, we had a drawing from Mark Stinson and everything on it.
Okay.
We allowed, I forget if it's a 30 or 36-inch wide path.
36-inch
Oh,
wide
okay.
path.
Everybody's allowed to put down to the water.
Being a new commissioner, I
Yeah,
guess. Okay.
so I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if some of these people have canoes
Okay,
and that sort of thing.
okay, so my point still
They're
is
enjoying the water.
to monitor the buffer zone closely, because it is small.
Mhm.
But I'm glad that I asked that question, because now I know.
Mhm.
That is not the case where I live.
So,
I mean, and technically here, unless the unit owner, a lot owner, says, sure, you can cut through my yard and put your canoe in there, essentially people would be trespassing, getting to the water.
Okay,
The-
but you allowed a path. You said that you allowed a 30.
We had a lot of path, but I'm saying any resident of
Outside
the
of
town and that sort of thing.
Okay.
each individual building lot there is allowed to put in or to have a 36-inch path to the water,
Okay.
period.
Okay, see, I
They
didn't know
cannot
that.
disturb anything outside of that.
And other people outside of the development?
No,
cannot
they're,
come in?
they're not allowed in there.
Obviously, if a homeowner wants to give permission and
They
say,
could.
go ahead,
They
they absolutely can, yes.
But no motorized boats?
No,
Okay, and that's, but that's in the ordinance, in the,
no.
That's in Mass General Law, there's a whole, it's all laid out for like size of bodies of water and what's allowed on them.
okay.
I don't think those are big enough for power boats.
No.
No, I don't either, but
No,
You could definitely put a trolling motor out there, though.
that's what I mean, a little one,
You absolutely could,
Yep.
a little motorboat.
yeah.
Can we ask Al to do some planning in that buffer zone, seeing that there's hardly anything left in there?
Thank you, that's what I'm concerned
Get some
about.
trees planted in there,
Where is this now?
in the buffer
so
zone.
where he's taking those
All those trees that were
those trees
coming
out,
down,
ask him to,
replant.
replant.
No, that's still in there, on lot
Still in?
16?
This is
Well,
not
they're
lot
talking about the
16. This is
request to
14.
remove,
Lot 14.
these recent 5 blowdowns, was it 5?
Well, he's saying these trees were located outside the limit of work line. So if they're outside the limit of work line,
So we do a site visit and then just have them replant if you want.
These trees were located at or just outside the
oh,
limit.
at or just,
Yeah.
yep.
But to me, it's not worth planting any new trees until they finish the construction. There's no protection for them. Because if the big trees are falling over, then, the wind comes and,
Well, I think the action we need to take is based on the content of the letter.
right,
Yeah.
for now, that's it.
And
So we should maybe just say we need to want to come out and do a site visit.
Okay.
so,
When do we want to do a site visit? Tomorrow at 5:30?
Tomorrow,
Sure.
Thursday. I could do tomorrow.
yeah, I could do that.
I can too. Just go right there on my way home. I can send Al a text on that.
Oh, good, thank you.
While we're on it, I just have my email opened up here. Got an email from Bruce Feeney. Craig, myself and Tom Christensen visited Hidden Ponds this morning and have listed our comments below. Investigating the outfall on Redstone Drive outside the subdivision limits and found no evidence of silt or sediment, which, that doesn't surprise me. Because
because
when
it's
we were
so
there,
fine,
yeah, when we
it's
were there
just-
before,
just blowing up.
after those pictures that Alice sent,
Right.
you couldn't see a thing.
Right, it's
And so
dust.
unless you're there in the rain when it's happening, also put inspected the detention basin and found no issues in the subdivision. And the only reason I put that in there, just because, I had some concerns about it. In the construction of the detention basin, even though it's not necessarily our purview, but crushed up redstone, which was put in there as the base, and then he put some dirt over that, is not necessarily the best thing in the recommended construction for a basin. And the other issue that I had with it is, as it sits right now, there is a lot of red clay just eroding down into that basin when it fills up. And in my opinion, it needs to be removed, but if the DPW is happy with it, I guess, we've at least made them aware of it. The next item was currently the road is being graded and reconstructed. Therefore, only a minimal amount of stormwater is being collected by the system and discharging into the basin. I didn't realize any water was being discharged into the basin. I'm not sure that it is. I think it's just eroding in from around the bank.
It means
Yes.
draining in
Yeah.
from the, yeah.
Well, he's
That's
actually,
what I got out of it.
He's
It's
actually-
draining in.
he's saying discharging into the basin, collected by the system and discharging into the basin. I don't believe any of that
I
is
don't know that
happening right
there's a
now.
system in place.
I don't know that there
Yeah,
is either.
yeah, so
I don't
think
know.
By discharging, it means
Yeah.
flowing.
And I guess what we need to do is take this, as previously stated, our opinion is that the Red River is due to construction site runoff.
Yeah, that's our statement.
No,
That's his statement?
that's his
He's
statement,
saying that right now, okay.
yeah. And I guess maybe we need to draft another letter to them, because essentially,
Who's to them? Whitner?
no, I'm gonna say to Bruce and Tom, because essentially what's happening here is this culvert is right around here,
Yep,
just outside lot 1, and it's discharging right here.
It's like, no.
behind this third house. And we were there before, and I've been there in the rain and gone through in Alice's Woodward's property, and in my opinion, the silt fence and everything here is working fine. And everything is not coming off of this site and then entering over here on the Harwich. And
It's from the street?
Yes. I mean, and I've been there when it was raining, and it wasn't raining hard, and that is some of the pictures that we have. And I was like, I beg to differ with that. I'm not sure. But that was actually in the email that Bethany sent out. As a matter of fact, I forwarded them to Jeff.
Well, we also said that once that street was repaved, where he opened it for the water,
Yeah,
that it would eliminate that problem.
correct. We absolutely did say that,
And
yeah.
it still hasn't been paved yet.
Mhm.
I thought the last time when we went over to see Al about that, it was supposed to be paved shortly. Isn't that what he said?
I thought it was also.
Yeah,
Yeah, he said it was like, the waiting period was 2 weeks, so it's
Yeah.
been way longer than 2 weeks.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would say that's been at least a month,
Because
month and a half.
he's sweeping the street, he's keeping it clean, but when it rains, it's
Yeah.
in that area.
Well, and that's where, yeah, that's where in the pictures that I showed there, he swept the street the day before.
Yep.
But the street sweepers don't get into the
Don't
little
get the
nooks and
dust.
crannies
Right.
and pavement.
Dust.
And yes, it's extremely
it's-
fine dust.
And once that water starts picking it up, from
Yep.
especially the rain we had.
All right, so I guess
I
I
don't
would,
even know how you'd filter that. I suppose you could put wattles, I don't even know if they'd filter it. A lot of that might just
Yeah.
pass right through there.
and I guess the other one, then, and at this point, since the problem is not being corrected, and it has to be, because this does run into the wetland to the,
North.
northwest of Alice Woodmore's property. And that's where there is a large wetland in there, and yes, that's where this runs right into there.
Yeah, but you can't have Al put wattles up on someone else's property.
I understand
Yeah,
that.
that's, so it's, you're gonna ask the DPW to put up wattles or to them to enforce the?
Yes.
Because the problem is gonna get really bad in the spring if we don't do
Well,
something.
we're assuming that this needs to be corrected. And after, I guess, we have a few more rainstorms and that street gets paved over, a lot of it should go away. But I think part of it is there was just so much of that fine clay dust compacted into the pavement that it's just gonna take a while to get it
It's
out
just
of
gonna
there.
take, I think it's just gonna take a little while, it's gonna have to just
Yeah.
run its course, that dust, there's really no way to clean it, it's
I mean,
really hard to filter it, so it's just one of those things that it's just
there
gonna
are
have to be-
high-powered vacuums that they can be using, wet it down and vacuum it up, and I understand it's an expense,
Who's they?
but
The
Al Joyce,
DPW?
Al Joyce / the DPW.
In
I
the
mean-
street?
And, you know, I would say, you know, that the applicant is responsible for this. It's caused by his action. He's the one who did the work in the street. He's the one who hired the people to go in there and cut the street open.
Is Al gonna be there tomorrow night? You're gonna ask him to be there?
I'll text him, yep, mm-hmm.
Find out when they're gonna pave that, because he said
Yep.
it's all done. The water line is done, and the
Mhm.
sewer.
Yeah. And I guess that's my dispute with Bruce and Tom's comment is due to the construction site runoff. It's running off the site in an area that's not developed. It's outside the silt fence. And that's not the way the property grades, you know? It doesn't really grade down this way off of here. It grades more this way.
Where-
And the water is entering right in this area right here.
That's Alice's house over there.
Alice's one right
Right
She's
here.
down, she's down
Way
at
down
the
there.
end.
And where are the wetlands you're talking about that would get the runoff?
Up here.
Way up here.
Oh, okay, so.
Yeah, Alice lives here, she owns this lot, and this here is the easement. The water enters here, runs along here in an easement, and then just kind of cuts down and goes into the wetlands.
How endangered are the wetlands from this?
What?
How endangered are they? What's the impact?
It's not a good thing to have red clay going into the wetland, but however, to a certain degree, because this is adjacent to a quarry, I'm sure there has been some clay-type runoff running from this steep area
Before?
where, yes, and to a certain degree, it's probably been happening forever,
So if
but
the
perhaps
road,
not to this extent.
so if the road is paved in a timely fashion, then that would minimize the damage to the wetland.
Yep.
So we can talk about that tomorrow night.
Mhm. Okay, so I will text Al, and I'll draft a letter to send to Bruce and Tom. Next item on the agenda, comments for the planning board. Don't believe we have any. Next item on the agenda is review of draft bylaw amendments. Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53 by Jeff Bosworth.
Hold on, back to Allison, doesn't she being Connie or Bethany, didn't they usually present things that were on the planning board's agenda?
Yeah. Have nothing in the packet.
There's nothing in the back.
Yeah, but in the past, she had presented things that
Mhm.
we were to comment on. So
But I'm
there's
assuming
nothing-
there's nothing, because I'm not sure if the next meeting for the planning board is one of the work meetings or one of the ones where they have public hearings.
The next planning board meeting isn't until November 17th or 19th, 19th, I think.
No, okay.
So, is regarding to the change to the bylaw. I sent you all an email draft copy, except Tony. I brought this with me tonight. This is the highlighted area is the recommended change, which incorporates, I took some from both what Agawam put in, I think it was the town of Carlisle, had in theirs, combined segments of both to give a complete coverage of the whole thing. I don't know if anybody wants to look that over real quick. This is basically the end of the change. It's just the yellow highlighted area, where this had previously had, this is the original bylaw as it stands. And it has consultant fees, definitions, and this has been changed to read rules for hiring outside consultants. So I'll just pass that down if someone wants to take a quick look.
I've seen it in email.
Also, as far as the chain of where this goes from us, I had a conversation with Jeannie, our new town clerk, and basically, there's this outside firm that's working on, forget what the term is, the code?
Code, yeah.
The code?
General code.
The general code, where they're updating a lot of things, and there was supposed to be something coming down this week. So she said we may want to wait to see if what they are recommending for changes. However, I told her what our situation was as far as the consultant fees. It limited us as far as doing peer reviews as to what we could charge. And basically, this just includes general law in Chapter 44, Section 53G, and doesn't set a specific amount. And it gives all kinds of, well, basically states how the whole process would flow. And that's what we want to change. And basically, it would be presented to the town council, and then the town council would send it to the bylaw subcommittee, who would then take further action on it. So that's basically, but at least the format is done. And I didn't print out the entire bylaw, which is pages 46 to 53. The only thing I did was just the change that we want to make. Now, I don't know if there's other changes in the bylaw. I haven't gone through the whole thing.
Do you have an extra copy that I might have of the bylaw? Of the bylaws
Yep.
as they are?
Yeah, you can get it off the town website,
Okay.
or I can give you this, it doesn't matter to me.
If you don't mind, a
Nope.
printed copy would be nice, because it's the first time I'm reading it over. Thank you.
The only thing is, on one of the
Except for the
other
change.
pages there, where it says a butters list, it requires a return receipt. And I don't know if we want to continue having that in there. That's an additional expense for whoever's filing the NOI. Or if we want to change that to certified mail.
Yeah, it was, I forget exactly what regulation that was, but
I think
That
it
was-
changed it, didn't it?
yes, they changed it, and return receipt is not required any longer. That got changed 3 or 4 years ago.
But our bylaw still states return receipt, and
Yeah.
I'd like to get that out. And I can address,
I don't have that right here. but-
I can address that.
You want this copy to look at? Were you looking for this?
No,
No,
it's in
sorry. Sorry.
310 CMR,
Oh.
where it removes the requirement for return receipt requested.
Oh, okay.
That's CMR 310, which is the Wetlands Protection Act.
So you're proposing to remove that part about the return?
Just that one phrase about the, you'll see it highlighted when you go through there. I think it's on the page 48.
I didn't get there yet.
We've had discussions with the director
It's at the
about
top of
removing that for notifications that we're doing right now, but she wants to keep it in there.
One of those pages right at the top, you'll see it highlighted.
Oh, yeah, 49, okay.
Well, I thank you for the work you did on that, Jeff.
You did.
I reviewed it in email, and I like it. I do not believe we need to have a published fee schedule. Some towns still do, but from what I've seen, most do not.
Right.
They pretty much just adopt this chapter 44, section 53.
And it states, you know, that the applicant would be told what the cost would be. They would be told who the peer review company is in case there's a conflict of interest. They could notify us, and that could be changed. It's all spelled out very clearly. There's no restrictions, and it's, I think it's pretty much to the point, and tells anybody who's filing an NOI exactly that if we so choose to bring in an outside consultant, exactly what's going to happen.
And we had that other draft that the director sent out, that the person that wants to do peer review for the town marked up our bylaw, but I didn't like it because personally I think it's about 4 times longer than that.
Yeah.
We don't need to have extra verbiage in there if it accomplishes the same thing. You know, clean and concise is the way I would rather go with it. Have you seen, you probably haven't seen that, you weren't here when that
No,
came
I
out.
And basically,
Less is more.
yeah, basically
Yes.
this just puts, you know, the general law right into the bylaw.
Right.
That's it. It's clear cut.
I have read on MECC's website some samples of bylaws.
Mhm.
I just took a look at that, and that's very good, yeah.
Yeah.
It conforms with the ones that I liked, yeah.
So do we want to vote to pass it on right now and forward it? or,
Based on what I would recommend is if we take this to a motion, is that we motion to accept this as, that would be the change that would be proposed to the town council, pending on what this outside firm comes up with. But we can certainly vote on making this our recommended change.
I'll make a motion to recommend the proposed draft changes to our bylaw that, as submitted by Jeff Bosworth.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Policies and procedures of the commission. Not even sure where to start, but I don't think there's a lot of time to spend on it. I did do a draft today. I just wanted if people look at it. I sent it to Jeff in an email real quick, if anybody wants to make any changes to it, but this is what we voted to send out at our last meeting. And essentially what we're doing is kind of venting some of our frustration with the policy changes that have been enacted and inviting the town manager and the town council to attend one of our meetings. Doesn't really get into a lot of specifics.
Could I have an aside?
Please.
I sat in different places during the conference on Saturday, and I asked other commissioners, do their boards meet once or twice a month? And almost every single one meets twice a month, by the way.
I agree 100%. The director has been given compelling evidence to that fact. Everybody around here meets twice a month with the exception of some smaller rural towns. There's one town that meets every 3 weeks, which works for the 21-day rule. However, I think it's actually pretty difficult for us to schedule this room every 3 weeks, because then it's at, a completely different week every time you meet, and except for every 6 weeks or so. But yes, and I think the vast majority of people do what we do. Second and fourth or first and third on whatever day, that's when people have scheduled meetings.
I confirmed that just by word of mouth, but
Mhm.
still.
Yes.
And basically, a sentence that I added to Craig's letter was, so far this year, our filing load has also been such that this is necessary to have these 2 meetings.
Where did you add that?
I added it in,
It's in the copy that you have.
Oh, we
it's
have
already-
it.
it's
So
already-
far
I passed out
this
the
year,
cop- I
our
made
filing
copies of
load
yours.
has been
Yeah,
such
yeah.
that this is necessary. Yeah, I definitely agree. And nowhere in this letter, though, maybe it's not, I'm off.
Jeff, when did you get this?
what's that?
Jeff, did you get this today?
Craig wrote it.
Yeah, I emailed it to Jeff. He put the header and added a sentence to it today.
So this is a draft, a proposed letter.
This would be if we vote
This is-
to approve this,
Yeah,
this would be sent to.
We voted to draft this letter and send it.
Okay,
So now we're just presenting the draft to the commission to say, okay, we're gonna send it to the town manager and copy the town
So my
council.
question is, didn't I hear her say that we could hire somebody? When this whole issue came up at that meeting, right, where she was removing staff, didn't we ask, well, if we have, she said something about we have to hire, we could hire someone, right, to take the place of the staff person?
We cannot do that right now. The person that we were talking about hiring is what I would envision as a part-time conservation agent
Right.
that could handle a lot of these complaints and phone calls and that sort of thing. Definitely not a staff person.
Staff person, okay.
But in either case, and I'm all open to entertaining either one of those options.
Right.
But we can't do that right now. We couldn't do it until it is proposed and put in the fiscal year 21, I believe,
Yep.
budget. The position has to be created and budgeted and approved
By the town
before
council.
anything that can happen with that. So the fastest anybody would be hired, I believe, would be June of next year, after the budget's finalized.
2021 or 20.
2021.
Right.
We're, okay,
We're in budget year 2020.
July 1st of
Right.
20.
Yeah, we're in
Oh,
budget
okay.
2020 right now.
so nothing would take place until a new budget was proposed and approved by the town council. And the earliest anybody could be even, that we could even start recruiting somebody would be July 1st of 20.
So
Right.
we're gonna be on that, right? So that we do propose it, so it gets in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
that's
that-
all I want. It wasn't addressed here, and I
Well,
can
and
see
that kind of
why.
goes into the next one, and that's the reason that we've been asking for our account balances and transactions.
That's what I wondered, why it's
And
not
we need
here.
that in order to come up with some kind of budget plan to submit.
So the more they delay, the less our chances are of getting somebody in July, right?
Mhm.
So that's not what this letter is.
I guess it
No.
kind of dovetails in, I
One
spoke
thing at a
to,
time.
Yes.
I spoke to Mary McNally about this at the town council meeting last night, and 3:47 today. Craig, I can expect a full report from Sarah on this issue in time for our meeting next week. And I'm assuming that is when we actually set this meeting up, and I don't think it needs to be a big secret, but the town manager and the director and I are meeting next Wednesday at 5:30
Oh, okay, good.
to try and iron out some of our differences.
And then you'll let us know at our next meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay, so,
This letter could be reduced down and asking questions and stating that it's ridiculous, and we can pare this thing down to like, just state the facts. And as far as inviting you and the town council members to upcoming meeting, so that these issues can be addressed in a public forum, I mean, we're running up the chain to the acting town manager requesting assistance.
Mhm. And we voted last week to send it to the town manager and to that one. I thought that's what we suggested, but, so what would you like
Invite them
changed?
here?
Or go
You wanna
to,
invite them to our meeting? I don't know what the next step is. If
I
the town
guess I
manager
wouldn't-
doesn't act, I suppose that we go to their meeting?
I guess. I'm not sure what else to do, because, and my envisioning this is we're gonna sit down
I
and
think
talk
you just
about the
pare-
memo that we
pare-
got at
pare-
the last meeting.
Pare it down to,
What specifically do you want out?
well, just pare it down to what we were requesting.
Be specific,
Bethany
please. Because I'd like to put this to bed and we'll send it out tomorrow.
we're
All right, well, the
basically,
first sentence is way too long. This letter is in regards to the memo of October 9th that was sent by Director Broders to the Conservation Commission regarding new policy of the reduced level of support the commission will be receiving.
That's all right.
that's all right.
Motion was made and passed. Just send this
Yeah,
out.
but we don't need, the reduced level of support is unjustified in breach of the director's contract. I mean,
Want that removed?
we just need to just state, keep it simple and concise, and just stick to what we're seeking.
So you would like that first sentence in the second paragraph removed?
Yeah, yes.
How about this?
I agree.
Okay?
That's obvious. Maybe they ought to know what a
Okay.
contract says, right?
well,
And then you get into.
Do we want the next sentence in there about, we asked if they would come to one meeting a month and we were told no? Well, and actually, at our September 18th meeting, the director stated that if the commission would change to one meeting per month, we would continue to have support from staff. If we have two, the support will not be there. When asked if staff would attend one meeting per month, the answer was no. I kind of like that.
well, basically, the main point of this letter is that the entire Conservation Commission finds no staff support as stated by our Planning and Community Development Director to be unacceptable.
There you go.
So I could put it down to that.
Just keep it simple. That's,
And
we voted that it, or we find that it's unacceptable.
That was a good sentence.
Yeah, that was a good sentence, and it's just.
I don't think we can say no staff support because it's reduced. We still have some.
We're
Well,
requesting their attendance,
Attending
someone's
at one meeting
attendance.
per month, it's attendance at that meeting.
Or,
We're requesting their, Bethany or Connie's
But
presence
I would write down that sentence.
for,
because-
the commission
taking of
believes,
minutes, the administrative duties. But as far as, strike that last line, we're inviting you and any town council members to upcoming meetings, so
Okay.
we just strike that. Taking meeting minutes and many of the other tasks in our responsibility of the volunteer commission is ridiculous as staff support. I don't know, then you strike that or just reword it so that, you know, administrative duties should not fall on the,
okay, how about this? And eliminate the whole second paragraph, and we could just say, the commission believes that the reduced staff support as per the October 9th memo attached is unacceptable. As per the attached October 9th memo. Did you get that? Not sure if I have one with me. I can email it to you though.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
It was included in our packets at the last meeting. I mean, we can, you want to leave in Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissioners recommends 2 meetings a month?
I think so. They need to know where we're
yeah, that's,
placing it.
I guess that's fine. Just ask that we're,
So, and then we release taking minutes and other tasks, we'll just eliminate that one.
Yeah,
Do people like, the commission believes that the reduced staff support, yes, reduced support from staff,
reduce-
as outlined, I guess is a better word, in the attached October 9th memo is unacceptable.
where's the October 9th memo?
That was the one that was handed out at the last meeting, that was in our packets. That's the 3 pages of Connie from outlining what we're doing and what they're doing, and there were still some gray areas in it. You can pass it over to Francis.
yeah, I want it
Just
back.
sum it up that we
Jeff
want,
needs that back, though. I have it in an email, I will send it to you.
Thank you.
we want administrative support at our
Right,
meetings.
we have no
From the town.
representation from the planning
Right.
board whatsoever. Past month or so. And they've been,
Nah, it's not the planning board.
Yeah,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, and some of
No,
the
it's
things,
what is our office
In-
called?
in addition
Planning and
to-
Conservation.
to staff at the meetings, I mean, one of the things that's in there is, we need to draft letters. You know, and some of these letters that we send out, whether it's an enforcement order, inviting somebody to a meeting or whatever, in my opinion, it's a 2 or 3 sentence letter. But staff is not gonna draft that now, we have to do it, send it to them, they put it on letterhead, and then they can mail it out. Which,
That's part of their administrative duties, in my opinion.
I agree,
Taking minutes, part of their duties.
but it's in that
Drafting
memorandum that
letters,
they're not
sending-
going to do that.
Drafting letters, sending letters,
They'll only do it
drafting
if we
NOIs.
have one meeting a month. Isn't that what she said?
Well,
Yes, that's why I liked having that in there.
So it's an
initially.
ultimatum from them.
But then, as the discussion went on, she said that they just couldn't provide support. So I said, does that mean that if we went to one meeting a month, you wouldn't provide support, or you would provide? She said, would you, I said, does that mean that if we went to one meeting a month, you would provide support for us? And she said, no, that's the problem.
Yes,
So she wouldn't even do that.
no, basically,
I mean, you can go back and see the whole scenario on video, but
basically,
it was confusing.
it's a situation where the planning and community development or department is saying they're too overloaded with work. They cannot support 2 meetings a month. And because we balked and said, no, we want 2 meetings a month, we have to have 2 meetings a month because of the number of filings that we've had, it was said, well, you can have your 2 meetings, but we're not coming.
Not even once.
No.
Yeah.
And that's basically the way it was.
I will email you that, Francis.
Okay, yeah, because I
Yeah,
didn't really look at it.
You have to excuse me, I have to,
Okay,
an outage
You have to
going
go?
on.
Oh.
Yeah, I've
All
got
right, we'll see you, Tom. So we'll just add this sentence here, as per the attached, and we find it unacceptable. What about inviting them to a meeting? And the reason I put that in there is, frankly, I think we're being more transparent if this is discussed in a public forum. And people can see it in a meeting, and they can read the minutes of the meeting.
But would they want to come to our meeting, or would we want to go to their meeting?
If they want to take that and invite us to one of their meetings, that would be fine with me too.
But all we can do is invite them to our meeting. Yeah.
But I thought the
This
whole,
Tom didn't seem to like that.
No, he didn't.
I thought the whole point of this letter was for it to get to the town council, for us to sit before the town council and say, we're not happy
Right.
with the situation.
The administration of our
Correct.
commission, right?
How about if we add to this sentence, or the commission would be glad to have representatives at a town council meeting?
Yes, let's put that in there. I like that, yeah. Give them that because I don't like telling them to come to our meeting.
Okay. I think at this point, I'm pretty much done with policies and procedures for this evening. I don't know if anybody has
Do we want to
anything
vote
else.
on that letter or not?
Oh, yes. Okay, so entertain a motion to vote on sending this letter as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So we're not meeting
Oh.
again till November 27th?
No.
Oh, that's what it says on there.
Correct.
It is correct?
Yes, our next regular scheduled meeting, November 11th, is Veterans Day.
Oh, okay.
If something comes up, right now, I'm gonna say there are no new filings in,
Okay.
so we will not need to meet next Wednesday.
Okay.
If some filings come in between now and next Wednesday, we might need to meet
Is
So
after
you'll let
that.
us know.
Yes.
somebody,
What is our holiday schedule? Do we meet during the,
You weren't here for that, were you?
Oh,
You weren't here when we did the meeting schedule?
no,
Essentially, we have nothing.
okay, because I
For next
will
year-
be out of state for a few weeks.
Oh,
Should I just send you my schedule and then you'll know?
yeah, we don't have a meeting scheduled for Thanksgiving. There is one scheduled, for Christmas, I think. But there is one scheduled for the day before Thanksgiving. However, in my entire tenure on the commission, we only did it once, and it was a 15-minute meeting. I really have no desire to be here then either.
No, if I have to cook, I won't be here.
Yeah, depending on what happens, if we get some other filings or anything like that, with the proper notice, we could meet the Wednesday before.
Okay,
if I may bring up our calendar, Wednesday, the 13th of November would be our next scheduled meeting. That's, Veterans Day is on Monday, the 11th.
that's what I thought, it's usually on a Monday.
Oh, you know what that was?
It's
Next year, that's right,
Next
next
year.
year.
So,
So
yeah.
yes, the 13th is our next scheduled meeting.
So this is
Okay.
not correct.
The director, that's on there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. That was what we did for last year, for next year. So next year, we're meeting on the second and fourth Wednesday, with the exception of November 11th, which is Veterans Day.
On a Wednesday? I always thought it was on a Monday.
No, Veterans Day is always the day,
It's always the actual.
the actual day.
Oh, it's always on the 11th, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the only day we have for a holiday in our schedule next year. We did the schedule at a meeting a couple meetings ago.
Okay,
Yep.
so I might miss a couple of meetings. Because I'm
Oh.
on from the 17th of December to January 6th.
Good for you. It's fun. Not our busiest time of the year.
Okay,
Yep.
I have the time off work, so why not?
Yep. We're supposed to return this manila folder.
Oh, okay.
Anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Don.